So what exactly is Trump doing? In the past 48 hours, the dude announced a 50-year mortgage. If you guys follow me on Instagram, it's the third link in the description down below. I quickly talked about it, shared my opinion on how it makes absolutely zero sense, right? All you're really doing with that mortgage is, again, everyone knows that when you take out a mortgage, all that interest is front loaded. And when it comes down to how much more you actually pay in interest, I think it's a $372,000 difference if you were to take out a $400,000 mortgage by the end of the 30 and or the end of the 50 years. Now he is saying this: people that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation and a record stock market price. 401ks are highest ever. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin to be paying down our enormous debt of $37 trillion record investment in the US. Plants and factories are going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. So, very quickly, why is he stating this? In my opinion, it's very clear. For those that do not know, this week, if I'm not mistaken, the Supreme Court is supposed to determine if Trump's tariffs are legal or illegal. So I think that this post and this made up $2,000 stimulus check that we've never heard of before is really just to get the American people, the people that are very, I would say, easily convinced, not knowledgeable, to just be like, oh, look, he's trying to do us a favor. Did we not learn our lesson in 2020? Did he not blame Biden for record high inflation of 9.1%? If you guys don't remember, in 2020, after the post-pandemic rally, the reason we had such a significant rally was because they started printing out all these stimmy checks. And for those that qualified, got a few $1,000s. And in response to that, how far did that money go? Well, it was there to just artificially stimulate the economy. That's the whole point of a stimulus check, to stimulate the economy. So we hit highs of 9.1 inflation, which is 40-year highs. And now everyone had to pay an enormous amount more for goods that, again, would have been so much cheaper if those stimmy checks were never printed. So now you are telling me that our economy is so good that you want to hand out $2,000 stimulus checks? That doesn't make sense. Stimulus checks are to stimulate the economy when it's weak. But this is what we've all been saying. We all know this. Like you know it for a fact, right? Our economy, for the average American person, it's not doing good. The stock market is not a representation of how our economy is doing. It's the top 10, magnificent 7 or just the top 10 tech companies that are really inflating the stock market because they make up so much of the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 to be at all-time highs. And even then, we've all been talking about this AI bubble. That's a conversation for another time. The stock market is not a representation of how the average American person is doing. So that right off the bat just doesn't make sense. On top of that, he talks about how we are taking in trillions of dollars. For those that do not know, if this is labeled and determined to be illegal, Trump and the Trump administration will have to pay back the millions and or billions of dollars that have already been collected in tariffs. And the probability for this is relatively pretty high. I remember looking at the stats last time, and it was nearly 80% that the Supreme Court was going to judge against Trump. I'm not here to say he does or does not. It doesn't matter what I think in that respect. All I'm saying is when I see posts like this, I always just like to ask myself, why? What is the benefit for him to post this? And it's because he knows that the average American person would be like, look, he wants to give me $2,000, but the Supreme Court wants to take away these tariffs, and now I'm not going to get it. And it's because of the Supreme Court, not because of Trump. In my opinion, this is simply just to convince the average uneducated person to be like, hey, Trump was trying to do me a favor. Very simple. He's been collecting billions of dollars, as in, the president and our government, with these tariffs. What do you mean he wants to pay off our enormous debt? Again, he just passed the big, beautiful bill, which is set to add $5 to $10 trillion in the next 5 to 10 years to our actual deficit. So that's completely hypocritical. Again, I'm not sharing an opinion, I'm sharing facts. It's why the whole issue between Trump and Elon started. Elon did not like that we were adding so much more to our deficit. He said, and everyone has been making it very clear, we have to chip away. Any money that is collected should be used to pay off our national debt. Wasn't that Trump's whole campaign? That's why I voted for him. Of, hey, he really wants to implement these tariffs, collect all this income from these tariffs, and in return, use that money to pay off our national debt. And the overall goal was to get rid of federal income tax. That was the pretty picture that was sold. But now he passed the big, beautiful bill. It's contributing and adding to more than any other president would to our actual national debt. So him saying that he wants to use this to pay it off is complete BS. My apologies. My son's in the background. And the last thing that I want to share with you is, again, why would anyone agree to a $2,000 stimulus check if we've already seen the negative implications of stimulus checks in the past before? A very simple question to ask yourself. Would you take a $2,000 check one time for the possibility of inflation going to a 40-year high again? So now, yes, you do have an additional $2,000, but now that means you are paying a much more expensive price for everything. In my opinion, the trade-off simply doesn't make sense. And I'll leave it at that. My baby boy is crying now. The last thing that I want to quickly share with you is that China just banned NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel's AI chips from all state-funded data centers. Again, probably not good news going into market open tomorrow. We have a big week ahead when it comes down to the series of different companies that are set to report earnings. So again, we'll talk a little bit more about that during today's Sunday Stock Talk. I hope that it earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And again, we will be going live today at 6:30 p.m. Arizona time. So if you want to tune on in, I would love to break down your top stock. Just drop a thumbs up on this video and do not forget to subscribe. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team. Happy Sunday.